Sitting in his home office in Rockville, Maryland, surrounded by shelves stacked with collectibles, Todd Howard looks both proud and nostalgic. "I'm preaching patience," he says with a grin, talking about The Elder Scrolls 6. "It's still a long way off, but we're excited about where it's going." For now, though, he wants to focus on Fallout 4, the game that defined a generation of open-world RPGs. Released in November 2015, Fallout 4 sold over $750 million worth of copies in its first 24 hours. The post-apocalyptic world, the freedom to build and explore, and the dark humor of the wasteland made it an instant classic. 10 years later, it still has millions of active players. 10 years after Fallout 4, Todd Howard isn't just celebrating a milestone. He's reflecting on what's next. He admits that balancing nostalgia and progress is tricky. You want to honor what came before, but also move forward, he says. That's why The Elder Scrolls 6 won't just be another Skyrim. It'll be something new, shaped by everything Bethesda has learned in the past decade. "We've grown as a studio, and the games need to reflect that," he adds. "It's about building worlds that feel alive, not just big." As Fallout 4 hits its 10th anniversary and The Elder Scrolls 6 continues development, one thing is clear: Todd Howard and Bethesda aren't slowing down. The journey from the wastelands of Boston to the mountains of Tamriel has been long and demanding, but it's far from over. "We're always chasing that next creative spark," Howard says. And maybe that's the secret, knowing when to pause, reset, and dream again. Because in the end, Bethesda's greatest quest isn't just in its games, it's in its constant pursuit of reinvention, imagination, and the worlds still waiting to be built. Howard remembers the development of Fallout 4 as a thrilling, exhausting ride. "We were coming off Skyrim, which was a massive success," he recalls. "The bar was high. We wanted to build something that felt familiar, but pushed us creatively." The team at Bethesda Game Studios introduced deeper crafting systems, base building, and a voiced protagonist, all bold choices that changed how players interacted with the world. Some features divided fans at first, but over time, they became part of the DNA of modern Bethesda games. For Howard, that experimentation was necessary. "We needed to evolve." Those risks paid off. Fallout 4 went on to win multiple Game of the Year awards and cemented Bethesda as one of the most ambitious studios in the world. Yet behind the success, Howard says the team was feeling the weight of constant innovation. "After Fallout 4, we needed a creative reset," he admits. "We were tired, honestly. We'd spent years building these massive worlds back to back. That pause led to a new mindset at Bethesda, one focused on refining, rather than just expanding. The studio started to rethink how it approached open-world design, storytelling, and technology," he says. "We needed to take risks." One of the most interesting legacies of Fallout 4 is how it influenced the future of Bethesda's projects, including Starfield and The Elder Scrolls 6. Howard says lessons learned from Fallout 4 shaped everything that came after. "It taught us how players engage with freedom, choice, and consequence," he explains. "We realized that what people love most is discovery. That feeling of stepping into a world and not knowing what's around the next corner. That philosophy has become central to how Bethesda designs its new games, emphasizing immersion and unpredictability over scripted moments." And then there's the Fallout TV series. When Amazon and showrunners Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy approached Bethesda about adapting Fallout, Howard wasn't sure what to expect. "We'd seen a lot of pitches over the years," he says, "but this one felt right." The series, which premiered in 2024, became a surprise hit, blending dark comedy, retrofuturism, and moral chaos in true Fallout style. "They got it," Howard says proudly. They understood the tone, the humor, the heart. With the second season set to release soon, the show has introduced millions of new fans to the wasteland, many of whom have gone back to play Fallout 4. That resurgence is something Howard finds deeply rewarding. We've had over 12 million players in the last year, he says. It's wild to see the game still connecting with people after all this time. For a title that originally launched on last-generation consoles, its staying power is remarkable. Much of that longevity comes from Bethesda's ongoing updates and the passionate modding community that continues to expand the game in endless ways. The fans are incredible, Howard adds. They've kept Fallout 4 alive with creativity and energy that inspires us every day. But while Fallout 4 remains a cornerstone of Bethesda's legacy, The Elder Scrolls 6 looms large on the horizon. Fans have been waiting since Skyrim's 2011 release for a new entry in the fantasy franchise. Howard knows the anticipation is intense, but he urges patience. It's going to take time, he says simply. We want to make sure it feels like the game fans have been dreaming of. Something that stands on its own, not just as a sequel. That's part of why Bethesda took a creative break after Fallout 4, to recharge and make sure the next big project had the care it deserved. During that reset period, the studio also focused on developing new tools and technologies. We've been rethinking how we build worlds, Howard explains. It's not just about size anymore. It's about depth, realism, and player connection. That's where Starfield came in, Bethesda's massive space RPG, which launched in 2023. It allowed the team to test new systems, storytelling methods, and world generation tools that will eventually shape The Elder Scrolls 6. We learned a lot from Starfield, he says. It was like rebuilding our creative muscles. When asked what defines Bethesda's games today, Howard smiles and sums it up in one word: freedom. Whether it's exploring a post-apocalyptic wasteland or roaming a medieval kingdom, Bethesda's goal is to give players agency. Our job is to create a world where you can tell your own story, he says. That's what makes games magical. It's that philosophy that connects all of Bethesda's major franchises: Fallout, The Elder Scrolls, and now Starfield. Each offers a different setting, but the heart of the experience remains the same: freedom, exploration, and wonder. Can you believe it's been 10 years since Fallout 4 dropped and completely took over our lives? Back in 2015, gamers were scavenging through the Commonwealth, building settlements, and hunting for bottle caps like their lives depended on it. A full decade later, Todd Howard, the man behind Fallout 4 and the Elder Scrolls series, is taking a look back at how that game changed everything for Bethesda Game Studios. From record-breaking sales to inspiring a hit TV adaptation, Fallout 4 wasn't just a game. It was a cultural moment. And now, as fans look toward The Elder Scrolls 6, Howard says it's time to understand how Fallout 4 reshaped the studio and why Bethesda needed a creative reset.